Hello, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Been a couple days, so it is definitely good to be back. What is going on, guys? Good to see y'all here. Berto360, I want to give you a quick shout out. Thank you so much for that $5 donation, man. He says, hello, V1, good day all. Berto, thank you so much for your support, man. Appreciate you being here. Welcome aboard our little bit of a lunchtime stream here, I guess you could call it, as somebody mentioned in the chat. I am Dimitri, good to see you, friend. Dougal McTavish, what's going on? A guy, Clear Direct Fubar, Mateo Chewy, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Milltown 24, that's the guy who said lunchtime V1 stream. I like it, Milltown. We're going to try it out. We've noticed we got a couple frame drops here, but we're going to give it a good old college try here. I'm showing about 3% drop frames, so hopefully it won't be too bad. If it gets any worse, we may have to postpone for weather anyway, because the ceilings in Washington are kind of all over the place. We're going to try to get the RiverVisual in if we can, but who knows? It is Microsoft Flight Simulator after all. All right, I've got to bump that back up there. Okay, nice tree. Okay, so yeah, of course, the only gate that I park in here has a scenery bug, and let me get out of the terminal. Of course, it's the one I park at here. So we've got a nice tree going through the empennage of the aircraft, and it looks like we got Gerald McGinley down here, or somebody just checking it out, kind of wondering what's happening. So we're going to pretend that's not there. We're going to hop over here to this juicy wing view. We are in Washington National. Oh, I'm sorry. We are in LaGuardia International, and we're headed down to Washington, D.C. You guys might think it's typically a shorter flight. Do they really do it? This is known as the shuttle route, or it actually used to be when U.S. Airways was flying the U.S. Airways shuttle up and down the East Coast. They would do it a lot in the Embraer 190s. Not uncommon to see Airbus doing it, and you'd also see it in the Embraer 170s as well from the regional guys. So it's a real-world route for sure, and can definitely be one of those days where if you're doing the shuttle up and down the East Coast all day, it can either be relatively smooth, or it can be one of the longest, most fatiguing days that you will have on your schedule, because it's the East Coast, and when there's weather, it just can turn into nastiness. So we are going to give it a shot. Hello, Samayam Tumba. Good to see you as well. Pete Munner says, V1, are you debuting debuting as autopilot on VATSIM today? No, I'm not on VATSIM today. We'll be back on VATSIM probably when we get back in X-Plane, but we're going to just rock with the standard no ATC today, because I don't even think the winds are favoring 1.9, so we probably wouldn't even get 1.9. But, you know, last time I did this approach on stream, I think we did it with a 10 or 15 knot tailwind anyway, so why not stick with the old tradition of trying to do it with a tailwind? Completely illegal, but it can be fun. So let's get this bird fired up here. We are cold and dark. This is the development mod, or the development version of the fly-by-wire mod. So we'll go ahead and get battery 1 on, battery 2 on, new sounds, and there's some really nice ACARS weather, which is super juicy. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. Here in the, I'm not sure why that's beeping. That one. We'll go ahead and get the external power on. Aircraft comes to life. Let's get our nav lights on. Oh yeah, okay, we got some new sounds. We'll get our overhead on here. Resupply oxygen, that can come on. Ground control push button would come on in real life. Let's get the aviators into a line. I don't believe their on-bat light is simulated. We'll go ahead and leave the fuel pumps off for now, and we're going to keep this cockpit. We don't want to be blasting cold air. It's not that hot today. It's actually pretty nice day, about 70 degrees or something right now. So we got pretty standard on the temps. Seatbelts off, arm, we'll keep those off for right now because we're simulating fueling. Pretty much a standard overhead state for us right now. Rest of the cockpit lit up here. Let's get our PFD, ND brightness up. Let's kind of get this cockpit woken up here. We were completely cold and dark, so simulating getting to the aircraft for the first time today, preparing for that long flight down to DC. It's only like 200 miles or something, but I tell you what, I've taken more fuel sometimes going from Boston to DC or LaGuardia to DC than I have going to like Chicago, just because of weather and who knows what happens in holding. So let's get the ground services tuned in here. Let's get the jetway connected. That's pretty much all I care about here. I wonder if we get a tree cutter service out here as well.
The jetway to the aircraft.
It's just the new green fuel that's being loaded, Christopher Levin says. Yeah, of course. I didn't want to reload the whole sim just because of one tree, but I think it's meme worthy. Hotshot says in the dev version you're using, there are new engine sounds that I made. Can't wait for your feedback on them. Excellent. Hotshot. Boom. I will definitely give you my feedback on those. I'm looking forward to it already. You already had that SID sound or that beeping going on in the cockpit, which is pretty cool. I think that's new, right? All right, we got the jetway hooked up. There's not much to do with the flight plan. I've noticed, and I don't know if you guys noticed this on the dev version at all, but when I'd actually had to reload my route in flight and then my sim crashed. So I'm going to try not to mess with the flight plan itself. But let's go through our basic initialization here. We're going with LaGuardia to DC. We're going to be operating this as Cactus 922. So we're going to go AWE 922 here. Oops, double clicked it, deleted it. Cactus 922 cost index is going to be 25. Cruise flight level. I don't know if we'll go with. We're just going to put 20 in there. 200. I don't know. I think we can make it up there in time. And for the initialization, we're going to go ahead and hit align on ref and confirm. IMDimitri page. Let's take a look at that. Let's get our zero fuel weight 47,428.0. And our block fuel on board is 7.4, so we don't have a ton of fuel, but that just adds to the immersion. 7.4 should be plenty of stuff to get down there, plenty of fuel to get down there, even if we have to go mist. I'm thinking we're probably going to shoot the RiverVisual, and we're probably going to end up having to go mist, either because we're not going to see it, or it's just going to be pretty ugly, and then we're going to have to come back around and land on 3-1. That would be my guess. But we're going to give it a shot anyway. 7.4 on the fuel on the IMDimitri page. RadNav, we're not going to tune that just yet. Can't do anything on the prog page. Perf page, we'll leave that up until we get our, I believe it's engine started, right? And then we can reload the V-speeds for this aircraft. So let's get the APU fired up here. Our simulate fueling is complete. We'll get our fuel pumps on. Prime that up. On and auto, arm the emergency exit lights. I'm liking these sounds. Wait for the flap open message here, then we'll pick up our weather from the ACARS. If you guys haven't seen the ACARS simulation yet in this airplane, it's pretty sweet. It makes me really wish we had it in X-Plane because it's sort of a game changer. Flap open message there. Let's fire it up. Let's take a listen outside. Volume is a bit too much on Flight Sim 2020. I'll turn it down. I'll turn it down like 1.4 decibels, and then we can continue to turn it down if it's still loud. Jack Mackey says, I missed the Airbus Cockpit Explain videos. Have no worries, man. We're going to get back to those. I just haven't had time. I've been, I know I haven't been streaming with you guys, but there's just been a lot going on. We had family in town, and then I'm trying to prepare our homestead for Thanksgiving. We got a lot of people coming into town, a lot of family coming into town for Thanksgiving, so it's I'm just working around here, building fire pits and trying to get the garage or the shed constructed. It's just, there's a lot of stuff going on. But I wanted to get a stream today, and I don't know if I'll be able to stream tomorrow, but I do want to do a couple more streams in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I want to get into the Mooney M20R next. So the next stream will probably be a GA stream, and we'll probably do a group flight. So if you guys want to tag along on that, it could be kind of fun. Hotshot says that now you'll see that the flaps and fuel pumps are only heard in the cabin view over wings. Really? Well. Oh yeah. Listen to that. You can hear them running in the background. I'm going to bump the sound up just a little bit more. I can hear those pumps working in the background. Very nice, Hotshot. Very nice. You know I'm very critical on sounds. Yeah, up front. No, you wouldn't hear them up front, so excellent. Let's go ahead and get the APU on. We'll disconnect from external power. And we still got 3 minutes. You can hear the pack spooling up. Hear the pack spooling up? That's awesome. Let's get the bags on board.
Ground Airbus November 801 Alpha, could you please send the baggage?
That's pretty cool. I mean, just sitting here in this view right here, there's the bag cart pulling up. Gloomy day in DCA. How do you get the top bar for data on the flight? That is from Sim Toolkit Pro. Sim Toolkit Pro. Jack Mackey, Friday Night Ops. I don't... So here's the thing. If I do stream tomorrow, it would be in the evening. I'm already like dropping frames right now today. I don't know if we're going to drop more frames tomorrow night. I might do kind of like an unsolicited stream tomorrow evening. So if you haven't already, make sure if you're a subscriber to the channel, you hit the notification bell, because if you're a subscriber, it really doesn't mean anything anymore to YouTube. Like, it'll just decide for you when it'll notify you of videos or content being released. So make sure you have the notification bell on. That way, if I do a stream where I don't really schedule it ahead of time, you'll be able to tune in and check it out. If I do stream tomorrow, it'll probably be short notice, and it would be evening time, my time, so probably, I don't know, 6 o'clock Central Time, Texas time, but we'll see. We'll give it a shot. I just hope we can get today off already. I see 1.4% drop frames, but it doesn't look too terrible. Alright, I wish I could spend more time outside here, but this tree kind of kills it for me. But we're loading the bags, everything's looking good there. We got 1 minute till the alignment's complete. We're going to do top altitude 10,000 feet. Flight directors can come on, constraint mode can come on, and let's pick up our weather while we're waiting. So check this stuff out. Data, and I'm sorry, big do menu, going the wrong one. So this is very realistic. This is hats off to these fly-by-wire guys, because select desired system, that is accurate. Everything here is accurate. ATSU, and then AOC menu, and we're going to do a... Now, I don't know it works with weather request. Typically, we'd come here for ATIS, and I can do DCA, arrival, or departure. I kind of want to see if we'll do departure from LaGuardia. Let's see what happens. And we want it formatted for the printer, even though we don't have a printer. Can we change the format? Since we don't have a printer, we can do it from McDo format, but we'll do it in printer format because I want to see how it comes. So we get the queued message and then sent. So we'll wait here a minute or two, and we should get a company message over here in the ECAM display. Oh, we can hear those doors closing up. Do we need anything else from, I guess we can get catered.
Ground Airbus
So there we go. Company message.
Can you please send the
Come
catering
down
truck?
here. So now we're going to go return, and then you go to received messages, and check it out, ATIS 1712 new. And look at this. This is even properly formatted. This is really cool. Now, what happens if you hit print? Anything? Probably nothing. So you could hit that print button, and then in real life, it would print out right here, and then we'd fold it and just place it right here, or you can hang it up here. Depends on how your cockpit layout is if you don't have the CPDLC or whatever. But you have your little paper hangers. But this is really awesome. LaGuardia, ATIS information, Victor, 1651 Zulu, wind 020 at 11, 10 miles, few at 15, broken at 32, overcast 7500, temperature 13, altimeter 299er5, departing 31 in use. That's what we're doing. 299er5 set, and they are all linked together, I believe, on my setting, except this one, 299er5. Perfect. Trying to brighten this up on here a little bit. And do we need the KGB light on here? I guess we can turn the KGB light on. And constraint mode over here for the FO as well. So that's really cool. That's all good here. We'll just make sure we don't forget anything upstairs. No, we're looking good there. All right, back down here. We need to get our ATIS for DCA. And look, it defaults to DCA. That is correct. And I think the only thing that is inaccurate, this is the smallest of smalls, when you come back to the ATIS, I don't believe this resets. So this is proper. It reset to the DCA airport, but I believe it would still be set for departure, because I've done that where you go and just hit ATIS send again and you accidentally print off the departure ATIS, so you have to actually click arrival. So you see how it defaulted to arrival. That's the only thing I think that is not 100% simulated, and that is the smallest of details. And I'm not even sure that that's just a software thing that we have on our airplanes, because, and it's been a while. It's been, let's see, it's November 11th, so it's been almost 2 months since I've been in the actual airplane, but I'm almost positive that would default back to your airport, which is proper, but then this should stay to whatever you last selected. So if you guys could fix that, I don't even say fix, because this is actually how it should work in my mind, but I know the airplane will trick you up like that. So that is so cool seeing this work. And let's just go ahead and send for arrival ATIS into DC so we can do our cabin announcement, give the update to everybody, say what the weather's like, blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and display our VOR needles for that. and then we'll go over our flight plan. Actually, we'll go over our flight plan while we wait here. So we're going to zoom it out to 20 miles, and we'll go back to flight plan mode. And let's see if we can step through this here. So basically, LaGuardia 5, or LaGuardia 3-1 departure, all the way out. We're taking that airway. Now this is where it gets a little spicy. We're going to come down here on the Clipper. I believe this is the Clipper arrival that I filed. And in the sim, I noticed the airplane has an issue flying this transition. So it should, I don't know why we got this little wonky thing here. It should make a nice transition over, or at least it have a vector here off of Fergie, because I have the RNP, the RNAV19 loaded. And the only reason I have that loaded is because we're going to have some type of visual reference. I can't pull up my charts for you to see here on the screen. I have the actual RiverVisual chart up, but you guys can't see it, unfortunately. So we're going to do it raw data with DME, but as far as the box is concerned, sometimes the plane gets messed up here, so we might just have to be in heading mode and shoot it down. And hopefully we see something, because if the box gets messed up and we don't see anything, if the ceilings are too low, then it could get really interesting. But as far as our route goes, that looks pretty good. There's our company message. Gosh, I love that. That is so cool. It just adds, it's such a small thing that adds, you know, immersion. Messages received and viewed, new. Okay, DCA is showing 010 at 15, so we're definitely going to be coming down there with the quartering tailwind, which is a worst case scenario. 7 miles visible, scattered at 12, broken at 2,800, overcast at 35. So yeah, I think we're going to be illegally shooting the RNAV19, but we're going to give it a shot. 3003. Yeah, they're landing 1, departing 1, 3, 3, and 4. So that's what they think. But anyway, really cool to see that. Really cool. All right, let's get everything closed up here, and then we are on our way. So we no longer need request jetway disconnection.
Ground Airbus November 801 Alpha Alpha, could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft? I can get back to the chat with you guys here.
Dimitri says, in case you didn't know, there is an installer for this mod. Yes, Dimitri, I do. I have it on, and it works great. I love it. AOC perf request, then we are good. I know, we just need our perf request from the AOC, and then we've got pretty much all we need. That is a really awesome modification and addition to this fly-by-wire mod. So hats off to you guys on the fly-by-wire team. Jeremy Harvey, I just saw your name scroll in the chat, man. Hey, I didn't get back to you, but I saw your emails, man, and that is a fantastic story with the flight attendants there. That is awesome, man. I couldn't be more happy for you, and it sounds like you had a really great experience. I wouldn't expect anything less from Delta cabin crew or Delta flight crew. They are top-notch, so that is awesome. That is awesome, man. All right, I think we're ready for a pushback now. Let's... we're just going to go straight back, okay? Because I don't think I trust this airplane. Yeah, we're just going to go straight back, and we'll roll it. Oh, I got to get my clearance.
Ground Airbus November 801 Alpha Alpha, ready to copy IFR clearance to Washington.
Is this the dev version of the fly-by-wire mod? Yes, it is. Yes, and Hotshot, we're going to be firing up here in just a minute. Picking up the IFR clearance. Mike and Messer, what's going on, man? This is Greedy Pilots. I'm really enjoying this aircraft. I'm looking forward to completely recoded autopilot. Yes, sir. All right, read back that, and we should be ready to push back
Airbus
here.
November 801 Alpha Alpha cleared to Washington Airport as filed. Takeoff
Sam
runway
Ken, what's going on,
31,
dude?
climb
Good to
and
see you
maintain 8,000 feet. Departure
Imagine
on
what the fly-by-wire mod will be like in 6 months. I know.
127.055
It really is. The amount of work these guys are putting in. Look at the nav light reflecting off the truck. That's really cool.
Read that correct. Contact ground on
But yeah, in 6 months' time, this will probably be a completely different airplane. Alright, ground services and request pushback.
Ground Airbus November 801 Alpha Alpha requesting pushback.
Beacon light on.
Airbus November 801 Alpha Alpha pushback request accepted.
Alright, we still have disconnected, but in real life that would be off. Pushback truck is coming. 0515. Auto. We are just about ready to go. I said 20,000, right? We're going to keep the climb all the way up to 200. Let's just dial that in. phone is blowing up here all of a sudden, of course. Alright, there we go. Pushback is commencing with the parking brake on. Definitely a no-no. Rusty says, I really hope we get a better pushback. I agree, man. Would be cool if they could simulate the LaGuardia controllers yelling at you for missing a turn. Oh, man. Yeah, there's that tree. I wish I could yell at LaGuardia ground for having that tree there. Alright, I think it's just about time to fire it up. I want to focus on the engine sound, so I want to stop this pushback here before we start
Ground
engines.
Airbus November 801 Alpha requesting the end of pushback.
Airbus November
Alright, brake set, we're clear to
801
start.
Alpha request to end pushback received.
Here we go. Cranking engine 1, ladies and gentlemen. Feast your ears. I'm liking this. Wow. Hotshot, man. That engine sound is fantastic, dude. Absolutely fantastic. Let's listen to this one from inside cabin view here. How would you prepare for de-icing? So you'd push back, you'd start up one engine, and oh, PTU kicking over, man. So we'd start up one engine most likely. Probably keep the APU. It would depend. We'd keep it running most likely, depending on what the line is like. And you wouldn't extend flaps here after pushback and start. You keep everything clean, no flap extension. We wouldn't do our pre-takeoff checks, like our speeds, going over our speeds, because we want to make sure all our weights and everything are correct after we've been waiting in line for de-ice. And then once we got to the de-ice pad, we have a de-icing checklist that we go through where basically we seal up the outside of the aircraft by closing the pack valves and the bleed valves and all that stuff, configuring the aircraft for basically contained or a closed configuration so nothing can get in. And then after the de-icing is complete, we go through our checklist and basically open everything up. It's pretty simple. Essentially, we're turning bleeds and packs off. That's the simple answer, but there are steps and procedures that take place. So we got 2 good starts. APU can come offline. Let's go ahead and extend flaps 1. I don't know why my spoilers extended there. Interesting. Flaps 1, arm those, and wow. Taxi light on. Fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. Let's get out of here. What runway do we have in box 3-1? So it's just a short taxi out. Start the chrono. Or should we get a warm up? Yeah, hotshot. Those are great sounds, man. Absolutely great. Alright, let's go ahead and run our flight control. Oh, you know what? We didn't even do our after start. That goes off. Blah, blah, blah. That's up and that's off. Okay, so we'll make a right turn here. And since we're going to have to wait a minute anyway for engines to warm up, we'll do our before takeoff stuff before we pull up to the hold short line there. We'll hold short, do our flight controls and stuff from there. But fantastic. Those little scenery download got a little messed up there. Do you know some add-on to share cabin? I don't know about that. How do you go into the cabin? You can't really go into the cabin unless you set up your wing views to be outside of the aircraft, then you can kind of slew around. XP72 did a video on that, which is basically a lifesaver for getting wing views and all that stuff. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and set the brakes here.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Thank you for the subscribe there. Appreciate it. Play again and NASCOM 68. Alright, here we go. Let's do our flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral, auto brakes max, takeoff config, comes to 1 and auto, TARA, and I think I'm pretty much ready to cabin check. IMDimitri. What is going on, man? He says, just keeping the FS Labs fund going. Dimitri, much appreciated, man. We will throw that into the FS Labs fund. We are getting pretty close. I know a lot of you guys were asking about FS Labs and you want to see some professional content. I will tell you, it will happen. It is like I said, it is a big financial jump to move platforms, and I'm gonna have to. I don't know, I'm probably going to have to eat the cost of getting a new SSD. I'm going to have to do some serious transferring because I've got a lot of stuff X-Plane that I need to move out, and I don't have any more slots on my motherboard. So I'm going to have to transfer some stuff around. But we will probably be getting into the super professional series with the FS Labs Airbus. I don't want to put a date on it, but I will post pictures as the time gets closer and closer. So if you want to see that, yeah, if you make a donation noting FS Labs, it will definitely go to FS Labs. All right, our before takeoff set is ready to go. So, all right, let's go. Parking brakes off. Let's light them up. I got my lights bound except the wing light. So, on 3-1 here, we're definitely going to try to use all of the available runway. Whenever you do, whenever you DC autopilot, it kicks rudder full right. I don't know what that's about. The frames are kind of tanking here. Man, what a dreary day in DC. All right, we're doing oh, you know what? We didn't even set our speeds. That's what we're missing. We got to redo our speeds. So let's come down here and do our speeds real quick. 26, 30, 34. Transition altitude is actually 18,000. Flex temp, we're not going to do flex, and we're at flaps 1. Do I need to redo the speeds? No, that's good. All right. All right, now we've got our speed set. Let's spool them up 50. And yoga. Oh man, we're gonna have to lower those in the OBS here. I apologize. All right, 80 knots thrust set. Neutral by 100. V1. Rotate. Gear up.
Airbus 1 Alpha Alpha, you are not cleared to be
Donation.
Mr. Swede coming in with a $10 donation for FS Labs as well. Thank you, Mr. Swede. Appreciate that. Don't mind me here as I overspeed and under-rotate the heck out of this departure. My apologies. I gotta turn this down here. Thank you very much, Mr. Swede. We will put that towards the FS Labs fund as well. Man, that is... Look at the low-level fog. Wow. I believe we're pretty close to acceleration altitude here. Wow. I'm going to blow through the departure heading just because I want to see this. This might be one of the juiciest views I've seen in FS2020 yet. Do you guys see this? I mean... Wow. My goodness. Hotshot, you guys are kicking it with the sounds. This fly-by-wire mod is definitely making it much more enjoyable to fly. I mean, and then when you put it in a sim like this, look at this as we go into the cloud layer. I'm sure we're totally off our departure and heading and speed, but I didn't want to miss that view. All right, let's get back in here. Let's see what's going on here. I don't know, we're at 180 knots for some reason. We need to be accelerating. So I'm going to select you all the way up to 250. Flaps 1. And we're going to miss that waypoint. I hope it doesn't screw up everything. Let's go ahead and turn off that weather radar. It's just a little bit too extreme for me. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go AP1 here, and I want to see, because we went past, whoa, we went past D last here. It looks like it's cycled to Modena, MXE, so that's okay. We're pitching up, and we are in climb mode. We are in climb thrust. Thrust climb, auto thrust, breaking through the clouds. Listening to these engine sounds, holy crap, man. Woo-hoo. Is that default scenery? Yes, it is, man. That is default scenery for FS2020. Michael Bonga says, man, when I was born in DC, that bridge brings back memories. Yep, we just took off, Exotic Bray. We just took off. I should say climb in the top left of the screen as well. Look at that, breaking through the layers. Wow. We should probably pay attention to outside air temp and all that stuff. We're still plus 14, looking good. There's 10,000 feet. Landing taxis can come off. Yeah, Lingua can come off as well. So it actually went off all the way. That's good. Yeah, it did. Okay, good. Lights are set. Everything is set. We're at 10,000 feet. Seatbelt sign is on. It's a short flight, so probably going to keep it on the duration of the flight. I'm going to increase our climb speed to 275 knots. Man, that was a beautiful departure. That was probably one of the, I mean, that was, to see the clouds over through the buildings like that, man. Clear Fubar says, thanks to everyone working on the A32NX. It's coming along nicely. Yes, absolutely. Hats off to the guys at the fly-by-wire team. Absolutely fantastic work. What sound pack? I'm not using any sound pack, man. That comes with the mod. Like, I have not done any sound pack addition. These are hot shot engine sounds, and he did a great job. Did you hear that autopilot solenoid sound? I did. You know what? I didn't even say anything about it, but that click over was fantastic too. I mean, you know, it's good when I assume that it's part of the airplane, because it just didn't sound off at all. It sounded perfect. Definitely get that solenoid thunk when you engage the autopilot. All right, there's engine anti-ice on because we're picking up some ice there. We just hit 10C. Wow, we're picking up some pretty good ice going through the clouds here. A little bit of turbulence. Just because it's Flight Simulator, I'm going to turn on the wing heats. We're picking up pretty good ice. I'm actually going to decrease speed so we increase our rate of climb. And we are busting through this ice layer here. What throttle and joystick do I use? I use the Thrustmaster Warthog joystick. I think it is probably the most accurate to replicate a real Airbus side stick as far as feel goes. Now, I know the stick itself isn't the same shape and doesn't have the same button layouts as a real Airbus stick, but just the way that it feels in my hand and the movement that I get, the pressure, the resistance, is very similar to the Airbus. And as far as throttles go, I use the Satec X52 throttle quadrant. I believe it's the X52? X56 throttle quadrant. So it's all universal switches. That's why I like it. I like having universal stuff so I can mix and match. All right, we're leveling 200. Are we going to be in these clouds the whole way? Let's see if we can bust the top. Let's go. I know I said 20,000 feet for. Let's try 24. Go longer need that chrono as well. That was just for our takeoff. Here goes Modena. And then we're going to have to start coming down as well. But I'm going to do an open climb 24. Let's see if we can bust through this. Didn't want to be in the clouds the entire way. I feel like we're got to be close to the top of the cloud layer here. First climb, open climb, 265. We'll get it back up on pad here. We'll do 275. What program do you use to get these cameras? It's all the default camera system. You just have to make one modification to your file so you can slew around outside. That video, look up XP72 wing views, and he has an in-depth video on how to set up your wing views just like this. Here comes the overdone icing again, Dimitri. You're right, man. Yeah, if I saw this much ice on the airplane, I'd be concerned. And actually, you would definitely have some severe performance impacts if you look at the amount of icing that's accumulating here on top of the wing surface and behind the leading edge surface of the engine. You would definitely have a significant performance impact. If you see that this type of icing would be something that you'd see on the ground. Maybe the airplane's been sitting overnight or it's in a snowstorm and you get de-iced for that reason, and it shouldn't accumulate there. And I don't know if I've ever seen it accumulating on the backside of the engine as well. I've seen it accumulate on the spinner, that's for sure. We may be in the clouds the whole way, guys. Cloud tops are about 360. All right, well, we're just going to go to 24. Well, that's going to make for a not very entertaining flight to watch. I apologize. We should have set standard there, going from 18. Standard set, speed alt star. And we are in the now we are in icing. This is prime. +1 C at about 24,000 feet. We are definitely in prime icing conditions. But yet again, I think it would be a little bit exaggerated. I'm going to turn down FS2020 volume again here. Hopefully it's not too loud for you. Yeah, that's a bad day. You've got that much ice on your wings. All right, well, that's going to kind of limit. Let's turn on some of our integral lighting here. Well, nothing to see here. All right, so we're going to have to think about our descent. What I do want to do is let's come into our ATIS and let's go ahead and get an updated ATIS. Let's see what the DC is popping out right now. Doug Larkin says, in the clouds all the way. Life of a Q400 driver. You got it, man. Those turboprop guys are hats off to them, man. All you guys find those turboprops around 24,000 feet all day. Eesh, that is a beating. New video, new ATIS, special, 360 at 14, 10 miles, few at 15, scattered at 28, overcast at 4,500. Oh boy. Let's see, I'm trying to see. I even got the NOTAMs and everything. This is cool. Rain ended 45 minutes past the hour. 1738, that's Lima. Special. 360 at 14. Man, I don't know. I know Fergie is at 3,000 feet. So we'll cross Fergie at 3,000, and if we don't see anything, we might just have to recycle and think of doing an instrument approach and then revisiting the RiverVisual, because I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. I'm going to pull up the chart right now. I'll move us over to the wing view here, and I'm going to look at my instrument approach chart, and the minimums are 3,500 foot ceiling and 3 mile visibility. So we have the viz, but the ceiling, we need a 3,500 foot ceiling. And what was that ceiling? It was, well, few and scattered are not technically ceilings. Overcast and broken are your ceilings. So the ceiling is 4,500. So by definition, we have, what was the altimeter to? This is why I wish I could print it off. Then I wouldn't have to do this. Like, you could print it off in the FS Labs. Let's see. 3,000 on the altimeter. So let's go ahead and put that in here. If I don't put the decimal point, it works, right? There we go. 3000 and 30015, I think it was. We'll update it again once we get a little bit closer. But man, that's going to be an interesting approach. All right, back up front here. Once we cross Modena, we'll probably have to start headed back down. We are bumping along. We're bumping along. Do you have de-icing systems on? Yes, I do. What's the reason for restarting engine first on an Airbus? So, if you are going to single engine taxi your airplane, by starting engine 1, it has to do with the hydraulic system. So by starting engine 1, you can turn on your yellow electric pump and have normal braking and all that stuff. Now, if you start engine 2, it's not that you can't single engine taxi, but the problem is your PTU is going to be running, because if you start engine 2, the only way to power the green system then is going to be by using the PTU, power transfer unit. So you're going to have to listen to in the back the entire way. So I know some airlines do it differently. They start engine 2, and then I guess they just let their passengers suffer if they want to, or if they have to decide before they start engines if they want a single engine taxi or not. For us, and I don't know if I can say every, but as far as I know, in the U.S., I think every carrier starts engine number 1 first, barring some abnormality, right? Maybe you have to do a bleed start or a cart start. Now, I had, and I said it before, I had an Airbus engineer on my jump seat, and he said, start engine 1 first. He said, that's the way it was designed. He said, start engine 1 first. Always start engine 1 first. Now, you can start 2 first, but it's in our book to start 1 first. U.S. guys start 1 first. That way, you can single engine taxi if you want to. You're not limited. Brian Harris coming in with a $20 a bomb. Thank you so much, man. It says JTO boost to the FS Labs project. Welcome back, Captain Brian Harris. Thank you so much, man, for your support. Thank you for that. We will put that in the FS Labs fund as well. So I'm excited that you guys are excited about FS Labs, because when I first put that out there, you guys were like, no, I don't want to see it. You shouldn't leave pre-30. And it's not that I'm leaving any platform behind. It's just going to be, it's something new, and there's more stuff that I can show you. Like just having this A-CARS weather right now that we have in this airplane is pretty cool, right? So imagine being able to have a complete different A-CARS system modeled, having other little nuances modeled, backup ski. I don't even know. Does the Tolas have the backup speed scale model? I don't know if it does. I don't think so. There's other nuances that I can show you, and I think Dimitri hit the nail on the head when he said a remastered professional series in the FS Labs airplane would be ideal. So we'll probably have to go down that road. I'm not going to put a lot of money in scenery. I'm really not. It's going to be a learning experience. It's going to be in the aircraft handling, aircraft systems. It's not going to be for beauty. We've got FS2020 and X-Plane to do beautiful streams. Although we're just looking at a sea of gray right now. Can you set custom weather in 2020? Yes, you can. And also there's better improved wind sounds. So Hotshot, I got to bring it up now that I saw that text. You said, I was doing a test flight in this airplane, and I popped the lights out, the landing lights. And unless I'm going crazy, I'm pretty sure I heard a wind effect, which is fantastic. We'll have to take note, see if it happens again here on our arrival. But that is very true to real life. You pop out those landing lights, you definitely hear the wind rushing over them and creating drag. And I'm actually going to increase speed. I don't know why we're flying around 275 knots. Let's go ahead and throttle up. So Clipper... so Nuki, Troy, Belay, and then Clipper. I forget what Clipper is. And the Navigraph charts. I really wish I could show you guys the charts, but what I do want to hard tune is DCA, which is 111.0. So let's come down here and let's finish this up. RadNav, we're going to hard tune 111.0. And the VOR frequency, that's Washington, DCA. That's where we're going to take our information from. Now, I'm almost positive there's no fixed info page, right? Right, okay, no fixed info. So we're going to have to do an old school and there are no minimums published, but what we're going to do is we're going to just publish a 500-foot barrow. That's just for reference. There is no minimums published for the RNAV, oh, I'm sorry, for the RiverVisual. You have to have visual conditions, so we're just having that as a reference, and transition altitude is going to be the same 18,000 feet. And we're looking good right now. After we cross Modena, we're going to go ahead and start trickling down. We want to be, as a rough estimate, what did I say, 10 and 250 at 30 miles out. Then you should be able to hit any window.
Donation.
So that looks good. Another donation coming in here. Dougal McTavish, thank you so much, man, for the dono. He says, more for the FS Labs in hell. We don't need to look at our window, out the window at scenery. Dougal, appreciate it very much, man. Definitely going to go towards the FS Labs project. And for those that don't know, the Dougal spearheaded project of SimWings is opening, what, I think it's 2 days now for the next application. So if you guys haven't already, check out SimWings. SimWings support project delivered 2 simming PCs already. It's an absolutely fantastic non-profit organization that Dougal started from the ground up, from an idea to fully fledged awesome thing to do in this community. So hats off to Dougal for that. That is SimWings. Check it out. Links are in the description, and I'm sure I think it's rolling through the Nightbot as well. So hats off to Dougal for spearheading that operation. Really cool thing to do for the community. All right, well, these wing views are pretty boring. What does the chrono button do and what is it used for? It's just a timer, a chronological timer. You start it and it starts counting. Mostly we use it for engine starts, and if we're holding, you know, like you enter the hold, start the time. Flight Simmer 77 says, you've heard that Fly-by-Wire is making an A380. I have heard of that. I haven't been following too much on the A380 project, but I have heard of that. I think I saw it in the Discord actually as well. There we go. Dougal's got a SimWings Community Support Project reopens for new applications this Saturday, 14th of November. Awesome stuff, man. There's no landing light wind effect, but that will come later. Hotshot. Okay, well then, I don't know what I hit. Something had a wind effect. Maybe it was my speed brakes unintentionally there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start trickling down, guys. We're going to go ahead and set 180, and I'm going to just do a vertical speed. We got to do this, and then this. Vertical speed, 1800. We're going to start down. Do flight level 180. Keeping the seatbelt sign on because it seems like we're getting bumped around pretty good here. And there is really nothing to see. Wow. Look at all that ice accumulating on this vertical stab. That would be no good. That would be no good. Alright, so we haven't picked up the DCA DME yet, but basically the way this is going to work, we've got a couple windows we want to meet here. We've got a 10 DME, 10, 6, 4, and 3. So almost every 2 miles we have a window that we have to meet. The first one that we're focused on is meeting the 10 DME at 3,000 feet. That's known as Fergie intersection. And actually we have Fergie on our flight plan here. I just don't know if it's going to work or not, because last time I flew this as a test, it recycled the box all the way to the runway when we were going a beam, and that would be a no-go. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. We're at 22,000 feet, descending flight level 180. Our perf data is pretty much set. We'll get an updated ATIS here real quick, and then we'll finish our perf. Another donation, Rafaid Rashid. Thank you so much, man. $1 bomb, appreciate it. I don't see a message with it, unfortunately, if you wanted to say something, man. But I appreciate your support on the channel. Thank you very much. Captain says, I'm just laughing in Carbon Cub. Icy conditions. Oh, man. Max Rank, what's going on, man? He says, just made it. How's it going, man? We are on the descent down to DC. It's going to be interesting. How long would it take for anti-ice to melt that icing in real life? So in real life, well, I've said it before, the Airbus, the slats, the outboard 3 slats are the only part that are heated on the wing. So if you had ice right here in real life, you would stay here the whole flight, which is why this is kind of unrealistic. You wouldn't see that. Now, you would see this if you were on the ground maybe, and then you turn the wing heats on. This would be, you'd have a nice clean leading edge, but you'd have ice behind you. Now, this is why you get de-iced on the ground, is to get rid of this icing, and then that de-icing fluid stays on the aircraft until about 80 knots or so going down the runway, then it comes off, right? So any snow, ice that has accumulated will come off of the airplane, and the theory behind it is once you get airborne, you have a completely clean wing and airframe. Now, once airborne, aerodynamically, ice does not typically build up here on the engine nacelle or behind the leading edge. In order for this to accumulate like this, you would have to be flying through some severe ice, and I've been through borderline severe ice in the Airbus. I think I told that story one of my last streams, but this still would be, I haven't seen this in flight yet anyway, and maybe if I have, it'd be very little. The problem with this is you have nothing to get rid of this in flight. You have your engine heats, right, with the leading edge of the engine, and your wing heats for the outboard 3 slats. That's it. You don't have anything to do this. Now, as far as the empennage goes, the Airbus does not have a heated empennage. There's no anti-ice or de-ice system on the empennage of the aircraft. That's the elevator, or vertical stab and horizontal stab, I should say. But we are iced up pretty good right now. Now, I have seen ice accumulate here on the wingtips and on the sharklets as well. All right, we're level 18,000 feet. We want to make sure we cross eyes at 17.6, so we're looking pretty good. DC does bring you down low, so we're +8. In reality, I'd be hard-pressed to be getting this much ice at +8. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but that's getting towards the latter end of the icing window, that +10, -10. Jeremy Harvey, I saw your comment there before it scrolled off my screen. I know it went back in channel, but he says, watching videos L1011, it's a beautiful plane. Did you like the L1011? L1011, man, one of my all-time favorites. I love all the tri-holers. L1011, from a pilot's point of view, has some really cool features. And one of them, if you guys fly DCS or know anything about the Tomcat, you have DLC, or direct lift control. The L1011 was one of the first, and I don't know if it was the only, but I know it was one of the first airplanes to feature a DLC type system. And essentially, without going into too much detail, it would pop your spoilers depending on your flight control movements, essentially. Kind of like we have roll spoilers and stuff, you know, when you go over 10 degrees angle of bank or whatever, you get deflection. But the L1011 had a slightly different system, DLC, and it was pretty fantastic. It's all about AOA flying. So there's some really cool features on the L1011. One of my all-time favorites. I flew an L1011 ATA to Hawaii one time. Absolutely loved it. Still have pictures in that cockpit wearing the captain's hat, L1011. Thank you for the subscribes there. Appreciate it, Sebastio and Winner Shamely. Appreciate it. Dimitri says the question is wingtips or sharklets? Sharklets, man. Sharklets for sure. Wingtip fences are cool, but I don't know. I like the sharklets on the Airbus. I like the wingtip fence on the 321. I think it looks kind of, I don't know, it looks old school when you see a 321 with the wingtip fence. You don't see very many of them anymore. Most 321s have those sharklets, but a good old IAE engine 321 with wingtip fences, it just looks, I don't know, it looks, I don't know, mean maybe? I don't know. The sharklets make it look too elegant, but I do like the sharklets. One thing I do hate, though, is those freaking, what are the scimitars on the Boeing? Oh, my God. I think that's the ugliest thing that ever hit aviation, is those scimitar winglets. Look like Star Trek out there. Ranger Rick says, I tried a flight recently with the newest update. Wandered off, of course, on its own, kept banking to the left as well. So, yeah, there's definitely some FMGC and autopilot logic that is not true to the real thing. So that's why we're going to have to watch this like a hawk. I don't know if we're going to be able to see the ground. I sure hope we can, because if we can't and our box is all messed up, it's going to be a very interesting approach. So let's go ahead and make sure we aren't getting high here. 17.6 at eyes. What we're going to do is set 5,000. Oh, my view just spazzed out. We'll set 5,000 as the bottom, and then we'll try to do a managed descent, and we'll see what happens. But the last time I did this, as we flew a beam runway 19, the airplane auto-sequenced the box. Now that can happen in real life, but you got to be really close to it, a lot closer than I actually was in the sim. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. Remember, FS2020 is all about improvising, adapting, and overcoming any and all challenges, right? Plus, any good pilot should adopt that motto as well. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Spoiler drag sound thing is one of the things that have been added. Ah, so hotshot, that may have been what I heard, which is also very pronounced in the Airbus. And actually, if you were outside or if you live near an airport and you hear almost like a whale sound, like a woo, that is 100% an Airbus every single time deploying its speed brakes. I don't know the science behind the aerodynamic changes, but outside when you hear an Airbus pop the speed brakes, it's like woo. And then you can hear them retract them as well. Hear them all the time coming to DFW. Our last house used to be on an extended final, pretty much where they would turn you base to final, and you'd hear the guys coming in all the time going full boards. Split SimTars. There we go. Thank you, Sel. Appreciate it. It says they do look quite ugly. That's just a personal. I think they do look ugly, man. I don't know. Thank you for the subscribe as well, Peter. Is the ice a fly-by-wire problem? Or it's an FS2020 problem, man. Yeah, it's just FS2020's icing model for airliners is not very realistic. Okay, so we're getting ready to come in here. I'm going to set 5,000 in the altitude window. And once we get to Baltimore, I will manage the descent. And we'll see what happens here. We should probably... We're looking good on the speed right now. Let's go ahead and pick up that last ATIS and let's make sure everything is good to go here. ATIS, arrival, send it off, return back here. Can I wait here like in real life? In real life, I'd wait right here on this page. Let's see if it pops up. Get a company message. There it is, company message. And okay, so it didn't pop up there. I gotta go back and then messages received. New. All right, here we go. Mike, overcast 8,000. That's good. Broken 4,200. That's sketch. 02014 now.
Subscribe.
Altimeter 3002. Okay, so 3002 on the meter. Come on, 3002 back to standard. There we go. And then what was the rest? Winds were 020 at 14 with a temperature of 14. 020 at 14. Okay, so our perf data is set, config full. It is DC. We're going to go auto brakes medium. And I'm going to just attempt to manage the descent here. Thrust idle descent mode is captured. We should not go past 17.6 here. I just want to see. So we got 17.6 magenta. That's good. I'm kind of doing some testing here, pseudo testing with you guys. I was a little early on that, but I just want to see what the airplane wants to do. So alt magenta means that it is, in theory, ready to capture 17.6 over eyes as we enter a 2,000-foot dive there. Out constrained star, adding full power. Interesting. Probably just floated the flight attendants. That's okay, but there we're below 18. We'll go ahead and set 3002 is set. 3002 set in the standby. we got about 15 miles to Eyes intersection. We'll let it manage up. We'll just see what happens. Hey, we're breaking out of some of the clouds there. That's cool. Also, the 7 Ps, proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. I be banging. You got it, man. That's a good one. I remember that. Canada Airliner says, hello, does your 320 still rock while on cruise? No, it does not really, man. We were just getting some turbulence right now. Jeremy Harvey says, I love the wings on the 350. Oh, yeah, definitely, man. The 350, I'm telling you. I don't know why, the 350 Airbus finally did something right aesthetically on the A350. I will say that Boeing definitely has the looks down. You look at the 757, I even think the 737, you look at the nose on the 73, it looks better than the Airbus. It looks more aesthetically pleasing, I think. But when it comes to the A350, I think Airbus finally got it right aesthetically. So yeah, what do they call them? Raked wings, or is that a Boeing term? Yeah, the wings on the 350 are beautiful. QNH not set 3002 in the perf page. Uh-oh. Crisis averted. 3002 is set. Thank you for that. Hoffen. Had the rocking happening the last flight as well. Cycling the autopilot seemed to help. All right, if I run into that, we will cycle it. But right now, everything seems to be holding its own, so I think we're going to be okay, fingers crossed. So I thought we were breaking out of the clouds there for a little bit. Kind of right back in them. Right back in them. All right, so we're at 17.6. I want to slow down manually, but I don't know if that'll mess up this. Let's just leave it. What the heck? We'll just leave it and see what happens. We may come in pretty hot here. What's the next one? These need to be a little bit bigger. EWB at 15. So we're in the descent. Everything. Winds are 020, huh? So that is a quartering tailwind from the left. Almost the worst possible situation. I think a quartering tailwind from the northwest is worse because that pushes you closer to the restricted zone. Either way, not good and probably not legal as well. 10 knot tailwind limitation for sure coming into play on this approach. But there we are. We're above that bottom layer. That's pretty nice. About time we can see something that's not just gray. Dimitri says, for me, it's the A220-200. I think it's the sexiest bus. Dimitri, I also would agree with that. The A220 is a very good-looking airplane as well. We definitely agree. Okay, there we go. We're rolling to the left. We should not be rolling to the left. Come back to the right. Come back to the right. All right, heading mode. Back to the right. See, so it cycled us all the way to runway 19er. That's not good. So we're going to just take over manually. That's all right. We're going to set speed 250. And I'm going to set 5,000 open descent heading mode. And we're going to come right to heading 350. We're going to pop those speed brakes out a little bit. Oh, yeah. Listen to that speed brake noise. Oh, yeah. Popping the speed brakes. Slowing it down. So we're going to have to vector ourselves. We got our DCA popping up there in our ND. I'm going to brighten the screen so we can see them. All right, 250 knots selected. We're coming all the way to 350. Make it even numbers. Let's go ahead and make it 360 on the heading, and then we're going to come right back around. There's Fergie at 3,000. I'm going to just have to dive us and drive us down to 3,000. Hoping that we can see something, because if we do not see anything at 3,000 or 2,500, it's going to be an interesting approach. So I'm going to go ahead and set 3 in the window. I'm going to come back 350, should be fine. I'd actually like to slow down even more. Let's see if we can drop it back to 180. Don't climb on me. She's not gonna do 200. At least we can get those slats out. Flaps 1. Slats coming out. Yeah, we were way high on this. That's all right. And flaps 2. And now we can start coming down even more. Flaps 2, 180, turn left, hitting 330. And then we're going to be back in the clouds. Dive and drive, baby. Can you put the HPA on McDo and approach perf? I don't think you can change the McDo perf. Like, change the format, you mean? I don't know how to change it. I don't think it can be changed yet. Sounds are great. I agree, man. The sounds are fantastic. Flight was good for about 150 miles and all hell broke loose. Hey. Never a dull moment here. The L1011X plane, but it's very basic. I haven't actually... I don't even know about the L1011X plane. I had the L1011 and FSX, I believe. It was Captain Sim L1011. Alright, so here comes 10,000 feet. Let's get our lights on. Wing light as well. Cactus 922. We'll fly heading 280. 280 on the heading, Cactus 922. Now, I'm afraid this is what I did. Last time I redirected us to Fergie, and then my sim crashed, so I'm not even going to mess with it. We're just going to fly in heading mode, improvise, adapt, and overcome. Coming left 240 on the heading now, 9,000, descending 3,000. We're already at flaps 2 at 180 knots, so we're looking good. We just got to pray we see something as we get down here, because I don't know if my sim will crash loading in an ILS approach. So basically, I'm going to give us a heading direct Fergie at this time. I think we can make it. Right about 190 on the heading to Fergie. We're 18.3 from DCA. Our first window we want to meet is that 3,000 foot mark at 10 DME. So hopefully we will be looking good. Go back into arc mode. There we go. We don't need our LS push buttons on because we technically had the RNAV loaded. So that's why we don't have our LS push buttons on. We got an MDA reminder height of 500. 6 descending 3,000. And I got traffic at 12 o'clock. It's always a little bit unnerving. The icing on the engine isn't 100% correct. Yeah, that is correct. Dude, I mean, it's hard for me to say. I've never seen it because I don't really sit back there looking at the engines, but as far as I can recall, I don't think I've ever seen ice accumulate on the cowlings of the engine like that in flight. Now, on the ground, of course, but in flight. Now, hey, look at this. We are looking up. We got the river in sight. Cactus 922, river in sight. You're cleared visual. Runway 19er. Wind 02015. Godspeed. Alright, as soon as we get down to 3... Oh, look at this. We are looking good, guys. We are looking good. Looks like our ice is melting too, which is even better. This is a cool shot coming in here. Another gloomy day. I'm probably going to have to completely ignore chat as we fly this approach. And I wish you could see the windows, but I've got them up on my side, so we're going to be 6 at 3,000. I'm sorry, 10 at 3,000. Then we got to be 6 right about 1,800. So speed, alt, star. This auto thrust tends to be a little bit funky. I'm going to go ahead and activate and confirm. All right. Let's go ahead and fly this approach. Now, this is not how you disengage it in real life, but I don't have my binding set up, so I'm going to have to click that button. All right, flight directors are off. I have no bird. Please give me the bird in chat. We've got the river in sight. We're at flaps 2, 180. I'm going to go ahead and manage speed. Let it keep trickling back. We're going to follow the river. The next window we're looking for is 6 mile DME at 1,800 feet, so we're going to start trickling down. We'll go ahead and drop the gear. We can go ahead and stow those speed brakes. Don't really need them anymore. Auto thrust does not seem to want to work, so I'm going to disengage it and manual thrust. Hey, quit that. Flaps 3. All right, we're at 9 miles. All right, so the biggest thing here is when you make this corner, you want to make sure you're hugging the right side of the river. Hug the right side of the river. 8 miles out of 2,300. Again, we're looking for that 1,800, right about 6 miles. And I'm getting my DME from right here. I know it's really hard for you to see. You may not even be able to read it out. I can barely read it out. Right now we're 8.2 miles. Let's go ahead, VFE next, minus 10 flaps full. We'll go ahead and arm the speed brakes. Cabin crew advised. We don't need these anymore. Thank you, Soul. Cabin crew has been seated for departure, or arrival. All right, here we go. 7 miles, 2,000 feet. We're looking good. We're looking good. Keep coming down. Speed is coming back. This is one of those approaches where that golden approach rule is not really going to apply here because, one, we're landing with a 16-knot quartering tailwind, and two, it's Washington, D.C., so landing or preparing early is always going to be in your favor. All right, there's 6 miles, 1,800 feet. We're looking good. Keep trickling down. Landing checklist, cabin crew advised, auto thrust is off. ECAM memo, landing all green. Landing checklist is complete. Our next window is the 4 DME arc at 1,500. So we're at 1,505. I'm going to go ahead and shallow out this descent here. I'm carrying a little extra speed with me right now. That's okay. I'm going to shallow out this descent here, carry it for about a mile. Hugging the river. I'm going to try to set my view up here a little bit higher. Okay, there comes 4 miles, just a tad low. Shallow out that descent. Having the bird here would really help. All right, this is where you got to be careful. Don't get lazy and go down the middle. You want to hug this right side. But I got to be careful because I've got that quartering tailwind from the left now, so that comes into play. So I'm probably going to position the aircraft in the center and let the wind push me to the right bank, which is okay. As long as you're not getting pushed to the left bank into P56, you're looking good. 3 miles, 1,100 feet. We're looking pretty good. Keep coming down. And one of my favorite views is coming up here. Yeah, the wind is pushing me tight in here. Off the right-hand side of the airplane. I'm probably going to screw up my approach, but right here, this is where people freak out. You hug this bank, you go right over those buildings there. All right, let's keep coming down. We're 1,000 feet, 900. We're getting a tad low. Shallow it out. So I've got the aircraft positioned in the middle. The wind is blowing me slightly to the right bank. That's good. We do not want to fly over there. All right, keep coming down. I'm going to go ahead and use my thrust levers here like an actual pilot. Get back on speed. Keep trickling down. Now we're getting a tad high. All right, as you get ready to make your turn to final, it's hard to see, but there's a road here. Pretend like you want to line up with this road, and it'll put you right on the center line. We're 600 feet, 12-knot tailwind, wind check. We'll pretend it's below 10 knots. Above. All right, hug this bank here as you come in.
Minimum.
Landing. This is going to be interesting with a 10-knot tailwind. I hope we can stop. Just a tad high. Keep coming down. Don't dive it. I got somebody lining up for 3. Oh boy, the other one. There's 2 whites, 2 reds. Don't undercut that turn. 14-knot tailwind. This may be hard to stop.
50, 40, 30.
There's our wing drop.
Retard.
And there's FS2020 being FS2020. Oh boy. We're down. Spoilers. That was an ugly touchdown. That's what happens when you try to land with 15-knot tailwind. 70 knots. yeah, we ate up that runway. Brakes hot. Manual brakes. Let's clear the runway before this guy lands. We are down. Yeah, we can make it. I should have prepared for that. I should have prepared for that left wing drop there a little bit more. That FS2020 glitch. We're going to keep all our lights on as we cross the runway here. And then we're going to get on the ramp and we'll reconfigure. Oh, float factor for sure, man. For sure. That 15 knot tailwind compounded with FS2020 flight modeling will give you a float factor. Overall approach wasn't bad. I don't know if I've flown it with that quartering tailwind that strong. Normally we'd be flying the other runway. That was interesting. Because normally you're super concerned about the wind blowing you into P56, which is that restricted zone. This time it was blowing me away from it. So just interesting. Alright, we'll go ahead and prime up the APU. E145 is on short final. We'll see if we can catch his landing here as we taxi into the gate. Get our taxi light back on, not in ghost mode. Good landing, you can walk away from it. Yep. Hey man, walk away from it and use the airplane again, that's even better. I'm trying to catch this 145 landing over here. Is it a 145? I don't know what it looks like. A 172 to me. A 172 landing. Van Bosky says you were puckered a little bit. Yeah, I was puckered a little bit there too, man. That stupid wing drop. When that hit again, I was just like, man, I'm not prepared for a wing drop and being fast. But hey, we got her down. We got her down. We'll have to try the same approach in FS Labs for sure. All right, APU is primed up. We don't need the wing lights anymore. Taxi light is on. Strobes are off. Hot brakes. We'll go ahead and park it over here in this terminal. I really wish we had a replay mode though, huh? There's our landmarks. I do have the Washington landmark free landmark mode, or free landmark installed. I believe Michael posted that in the Discord, so I picked that up. Appreciate it, man. Definitely makes a bit of a difference when you're coming in. I guess the only replay I'll have will be watching the stream back, so it is what it is. We'll throw you into replay mode. We'll get a little sail playing in the background as we take it in. We'll park over here on the end. Man. It's a new 145 in real life? Awesome. That live traffic is cool. Oh, look. Did somebody go around? Did he go around? Kill a taxi light. Something happened there. He's going around. APU is just about online. Cheat mode parking. Oh. Man, that would be something hot to see a US Airways 320 Neo. What could have been? What could have been? APU is available. Engine 2, Engine 1, seatbelt sign. APU bleed, 5% N1, beacon have come offline. Well, it definitely wasn't the most pretty of pretty approaches, but hey, it was pretty fun. I want to revisit this for sure when the winds are properly shooting out of the south there for that RiverVisual 19, but I still had fun. I hope you guys had fun. Looks like we got rid of our ice there on the airplane. That's always good to see that go away. So, Will Pine says, no more wing dips soon. We're perfecting our first version of custom fly-by-wire, but waiting for Microsoft to add a couple of things to the SDK. Will Pine, awesome to hear it, man. I look forward to it. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are also looking forward to that as well. That's kind of one of the crutches of this airplane still, is that wing drop. Anyway, Miss Jungle says, great stream, I appreciate it. Guys, appreciate y'all hanging out with me today on the short stream down to DC. Hit that like button for me on the way out. It does help the channel grow. If you like this kind of content, it will also repopulate your feed as well. Now, if you want to be around for a possible stream tomorrow, make sure your notifications are on, because I don't know if I'll be able to pre-schedule the stream, but we may do a GA stream tomorrow evening. So make sure your notifications are on if you're subscribed to the channel, and I will catch you then. So until then, guys, I hope you stay safe, stay healthy. Mod sponsors, donors, shout out to you guys. FS Labs Fund is getting ready to, we've almost got it done here. I'll have to, I'll take a tally and then I'll put up the numbers on the next stream for the FS Labs Fund as well. But again, mod sponsors, donors, shout out to you guys. Everyone else just hanging out in chat, love you guys just as much. Hit that like button for me on the way out. Until next time, guys, I'm V1. See ya!